Have you ever wanted to watch a show about digging? No? Too bad, because that's pretty much all they do on the History Channel anymore, and they're easily some of the worst shows I've ever seen.
Look at that. Wow. Nice.
For those of you that aren't familiar with my channel, I made a video on the History Channel quite a few months ago, and I'm not going to sit here and break all that down again. You can go watch it if you want, but my point was essentially this. Ancient Aliens is easily the most prolific source of pseudoscience in today's day and age. Like, you can find people that believe in insane conspiracies at their silly little conventions where they think they can make spoons float and the earth is flat.
This Travis Scott concert where 800 people were injected with these drone mosquitoes.
But I don't think we quite understand how crazy it is that this is on live television, a show covering evidence of alien-human hybrids. And in case you are wondering, none of the evidence is good. Everyone in the show's insane. And conversely, their fan base consists of some of the strangest people I've ever seen.
They are preparing us for something. First, Mr. Beast visits the pyramids. Now this?
I'm seeing more turtles, lizards, and snakes in my yard.
And this video's comment section will inevitably be flooded by them, just like it was last time. It just genuinely astounds me that the self-proclaimed History Channel, known for shows like The Curse of Oak Island and The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. You know, maybe history isn't a very good description of this channel anymore.
Rocks, an amazing find. Rocks were used in the 18th century as a building tool.
The first show we're going to be going over is, as I said before, The Curse of Oak Island. And it has to be one of the most... I actually don't have a great word to describe it, to be honest. It's the most of something. I don't really know what. It's basically just a show about digging. They're digging for treasure. They have reason to believe there's treasure buried on this island in Nova Scotia. Is it good reason, you may be wondering? Well, that's subjective, but to be honest, contrary to what you may think, it doesn't really make a difference, because the fun part isn't digging for treasure. No. The fun part is finding out how long they can manage to not find it. So far, they've been digging for this treasure for, prepare yourself, going on 13 years, 12 seasons of 248 episodes. That's 3 times as many episodes as Attack on Titan, and they're twice as long. It's not like you're searching the world, you're excavating a finite area, and they've had it narrowed down to 1 square mile from pretty much the very beginning. And they've been looking for it for 13 years? How has it taken them that long? Hell, it's more impressive at this point they haven't managed to accidentally find the treasure. That is, until you see them bust out the metal detector for the 200th time and find some pottery that he somehow carbon dates with his naked eye.
It's annular ware, and the annular ware we know comes in early 1750s.
No lab testing? Nothing? You don't even need to see the whole pot? You know exactly when it's from, really. What that's even supposed to prove if he was right, I honestly have no idea. And I don't think they do either. Because let's be honest here, you and I both know, and the team for this show certainly knows with the absurd amount of filler this show has, the real treasure at this point is keeping the show going for as long as they can, because they know damn well there's a lot more money in prolonging a network TV contract than they ever would have found in a treasure chest anyway. The unfortunate byproduct of that is it's wasting thousands, if not millions of people's time. But with all this in mind, you may be wondering, how is this show still on the air if they're doing seemingly nothing? Their viewership has to be pretty bad at this point. I mean, people can't still be hanging on to hope that they're going to find the treasure after 13 years, right? Well, I can't speak to the viewership necessarily because it's kind of hard to come across exact numbers. This, unfortunately, is a totally real screenshot that I think pretty much speaks for itself. The highest ranking it's received in the past year being number 67, placing it above The Sopranos, The Walking Dead, Better Call Saul, and SpongeBob. How? These are shows where things happen. This is a show where nothing happens. So to be perfectly honest, this show isn't really worth examining a lot more than I already have, because it's just slop, and it's not even enjoyable slop like Love Island or something. It's just boring. This next show, however, exists in a sort of flux between very interesting and hilariously bad. The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. So as I said, this show is like kind of confusing, and even after watching 3 full episodes of it, I didn't really understand what it was about. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning to give it a fair shot. Probably should have done that to begin with, but whatever. Shut up. So as this episode opens, keep in mind, this is episode 1, season 1. This is the pilot. if you could call it that. The very first scene is a man running towards something, and the people surrounding it are in utter shock, giving Mr. Beast faces. And when he gets there and they show what it is, it's a dead cow, which I'm not going to show because it's sad. But the important bit is that he says this right off the bat.
Hey, y'all, I'd recommend not to touch it till we see if it's radioactive or not. Too late.
So this is probably like a bait moment to get you to keep watching, like, what could have killed it? Why would it be radioactive? That type of thing. It's a hook, right? So I guess we're about to find out. Right? Well, no, because after this, it cuts to 12 weeks earlier where our main character Travis meets the gang. Don't worry about their names. I don't remember any of them anyway. Apart from this guy named Dragon, because that's kind of hard to forget, they explained that the ranch that this show takes place on used to be Native American land that got cursed by a neighboring tribe, with the curse of what we call skinwalkers. And they explained that settlers of the area felt nausea and vertigo. Okay.
People have had really acute medical episodes. Everything from incidents of nausea, perception-altering experiences, vertigo.
And then a company bought it or something to study it because a bunch of cows died in grotesque ways. And they really drag these cattle mutilations as being something anomalous and alien activity. But the neighboring tribe definitely just did that to freak them out and get them to leave. Then a lot of the scientists decided they would never step foot there again. They don't really say why, but that's not really the point, because the explanation of this bit has to be some of the most unintentionally hilarious editing I've ever seen.
Many of those professionals to this day refuse to ever set foot on this ranch ever again for the rest of their lives.
Really?
Literally.
That's right.
Wow.
That was their genuine editing. Why are there so many cuts? There's so much camera movement that this shot is giving me vertigo. And the way he emphasized in their whole life after a pause because nobody said anything.
Ever again for the rest of their lives.
Really?
Literally.
This is cinema. But then this guy buys the ranch and starts surveying it. And guys, I really don't think you're ready to hear about his findings. Like, actually.
One of the first things that we captured, a 500-foot section of the mesa became totally illuminated. We have seen several instances of compact light pillars, these columns of light that have appeared above the mesa.
Oh my God. This is a show on TV, and they're spending millions of dollars producing it. It really is no wonder this is tied for the lowest rated episode on IMDb, because I was actually enjoying the show more having not watched this one. I actually preferred when it was confusing. It was funny. But after this, our main character Travis seems a little confused himself as to why he's even there, and actually asks some perfectly valid questions.
I really am curious as to why exactly am I here? What is it I'm supposed to be figuring out?
We've noticed that when we bring new people onto the ranch behaves differently than it normally does.
It's just a place, right? I mean...
Wait a minute. This guy kind of makes sense. I didn't know you were allowed to do that on the History Channel. It's like he hasn't got the memo that he's supposed to be acting like a goofball in front of the camera yet. And to be honest, it's like the moment this meeting ended, the director pulled him out of the room and told him, listen, Travis, I know this guy is like kind of insane, but he has $300 million. So go get in his helicopter and go say some science shit. Who cares if it makes sense? And I'm being totally genuine about that, by the way. The way Travis reacts to being shown around home base on the ranch spurs another moment that I'm obsessed with, where they introduce him to the command center.
So this is the command center.
This is the command center. A few things that we've collected over the last couple years as we've been here.
Oh, cool. I like all the pictures.
Dude, it's like he's making fun of them. This is what you say when you walk into a kindergarten classroom.
I like all the pictures.
And then they show him the control room, which is actually pretty cool. They have RGB lights in green. For aliens, of course. And then they lock the camera guy inside. Side note, why is there a card reader on the inside, by the way? Why would you need a card to exit the room? Then they tell this weird story about how a farmer back in the day saw a wolf that was indestructible.
A very large wolf came in off the plains.
And the story goes that this animal was strong enough to withstand allegedly 6 shots from a .357 and a couple shots from a .30-06 rifle.
Okay. Wolves don't live in Utah, by the way. Just thought I'd point that out. Which either makes their argument that it was a skinwalker look better, or it makes the whole story sound fake. It depends how you want to look at it. Then the team takes Brian for a ride over to Skinwalker Ridge for no apparent reason, and they just start looking around.
Like all the pictures.
When suddenly their microwave detector thingy goes off.
You ought to check your tri-field meter, see what it's doing.
I'm getting a little tone from it.
A little tone? Whoa. Let me see that thing.
And when I initially watched this, I thought, you know, that's kind of weird. Could be staged, but I'm not just going to say that with no evidence because I think that would be kind of stupid. But then I realized, one, how did they know to go exactly there? And or what are the odds that they ended up there? And two, how did they know to bring several of these wave detectors? It's not like they have a trunk full of instruments with them. They just started pulling them out of their pockets. I don't know. Near the end of this episode, Travis says that he wants to start digging. Just like, flat out. He doesn't say where exactly, which makes me think they told him to say that, but the team is very quick to shut it down, saying he'll grow an egg on his head.
One day I decided to do some digging, and then 3 days after, I noticed that I had a goose egg on the back of my head. The doctors had no idea what caused it.
And then this guy pulls out a box that'll supposedly explain everything once we see what's in it.
Eric, do you happen to have the case?
I do. I've been saving it until the right point in the discussion to bring it up.
And, we don't get to see it. You have to watch the next episode. In this episode, after an excruciating 10-minute long recap, they finally open the box. And Travis is rightfully very confused because all that's in it is a magnet. And even though Travis is dead-ass honest with him and says this makes absolutely no sense,
but when Eric opens up this case and he shows us this magnet, I'm looking at this thinking, what does this have to do with not digging on the ranch?
They explained to him there will be no digging because there might be some sort of machine underground put there by aliens. So what I'm getting from this show is Travis is the only sensible one, and these guys are just a bunch of goobers. Their sole purpose is to provide plot armor for the show so we don't reveal all the secrets too quickly. Wait a minute. Is this show doing the same thing as Oak Island? I'm not gonna fall for that. So I just spent the last 5 days watching this show. I finished the whole first season, actually, and it's somehow even worse than I thought. Because while I did come into this video obviously pretty skeptical, I was still shocked at some of the things that go on in this show. But I continued watching it because I had to answer the question, why was the cow radioactive? For the next few episodes, they kind of just explore the ranch, I guess.
Hey, Thomas, you coffee?
Yeah, Bryant, go ahead.
You guys should get just straight over here. We found some crazy stuff you're going to want to see.
And then they get there, and it's a cave, and it's cold, like a cave typically is.
This one is interesting just because air flows out of it and things like that.
Yeah, you can feel it. We get up there, and there's a hole in the ground. It's kind of like a little cave.
We've had a few people that have climbed down in that hole and experienced some pretty extreme vertigo and nauseousness.
Hang on, weren't you just in there? And then after doing absolutely nothing, because there's nothing you can do about any of that, they decide to shoot a laser onto the mesa. And then they had this weird phenomenon where the laser like mirrors itself, which like a lot of things in this show, to me has a very obvious scientific explanation, but I'm not going to bore you with that because that's besides the point. Anyway, the real reason I show you this clip is, one, why are they shining a laser onto it anyway? They never even explained that. And two, when they go up on the mesa to investigate what's going on,
we need to go up there and look at it.
The laser mysteriously goes out.
Does the laser seem like it lost intensity?
The laser's lost power.
And when they investigate why, I expect some sort of contraption that they're remote controlling the laser with, like a turret or something. But wait, what is that? Is that a laser pointer from Amazon laying on an empty paint can?
We brought a very large green laser that allows us to light up a beam all the way up to the mesa.
Never mind how rudimentary that is for the amount of funding they receive. How were they controlling the laser in the first place? It was moving around. Was there somebody over there? And if there was, why'd they need to go check it for batteries? But regardless, once he examines the laser, he says this.
I just replaced the batteries in this laser. There's no way that it's the batteries that are causing it to malfunction.
So it can't be the batteries. So I'm not even going to check. But shit, I can't think of anything else. It must have been, I don't know. I want to go home.
Hey, Travis?
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
The laser is dead.
So I didn't really know how to insert this clip into my script, if I'm honest, but I seriously could not let this one go to waste, so here you go.
Then reached back to the spot on the back of his head where he previously had his serious injury and said that he was having pain there again.
Oh my gosh.
So Caleb actually grabbed him and drove him to the emergency room to have more testing.
Oh, I can't believe that Tom's in the emergency room. This is really troubling.
How is this guy so awkward? I can't get enough of him. I love him. It's like Mark Zuckerberg. He's like a lizard every time he delivers a line. He speaks like anything he says could ruin his life. He's talking like he's dodging a question.
I can't believe that Tom's in the emergency room.
Wow. Okay, this is something that I did not expect.
Anyway, the next few episodes pretty much lack anything interesting to go over once again, so I'm just going to summarize it super fast. They launch some balloons and a couple of rockets to collect data.
Oh, yeah!
Smokes.
And despite finding said data, they kind of just go, what now? And then they go do something else. And then they do some ground-penetrating radar to see if there's anything underground and discover these weird hard layers.
So what I did is I ran a wire underneath here, attached to the body, to hold this tight.
Looks very solid to me. Now, look at this right here.
Okay. Whoa! I see that. I see that. How do you interpret that feature?
Well, it looks like a dome feature.
And I can't help but think, every time I watch this part, why don't they just get a geologist if they don't know what it is? That would be the common sense thing to do, right? But they don't, and they want to dig to see what's down there. And then they call the rich guy again, and he says no digging. Except, yes digging.
As we move closer to the GPR anomaly, the core drilling bit is hitting something and it's chattering like crazy.
Wow. Okay, this is something that I did not expect.
So they bore some holes, and the hole boring man says, ground too hard, I'm leaving now. And that's the whole episode. And once again, I kind of get the feeling that if they had a geologist on to begin with, this wouldn't have even been an episode. And they would have seen the radar and said, yeah, that's like bedrock or whatever. It forms that way sometimes. But instead, they're just sitting here thinking it's a spacecraft because they don't hire the proper people to investigate their findings. It's not like there's a lack of funding. This guy flew in on a helicopter just because he felt like it. And then he did it again. Plus, our main character, Travis, is worth $20 million. But in the episode following this, Travis says something that I never expected to hear on this channel that almost restored my faith in it.
But it's interesting that we've got at least a hypothesis. But a hypothesis isn't worth anything unless you can create an experiment to test that hypothesis.
That was the entire point of my video on ancient aliens and the pyramids. In fact, if I had to summarize that video, my exact words probably wouldn't stray far from that. So honestly, as I was watching this, I was kind of thinking, you know what? This show is kind of enjoyable. It's a little goofy, but it's fun. It's funny. And there's at least a modicum of integrity with Travis on here. There's some lulls in the action, sure, but there's some stuff that's gone unexplained as well. Until this happens. Now, I'm not going to show the clip because, once again, it's sad and also graphic this time. But basically, they have a variety of livestock on the ranch, and the alpacas get attacked by some wild animals and make some squealing noises because they're being eaten.
The alpacas were in a great degree of distress based on this screaming sound that we hadn't heard before.
Yeah, it was getting eaten. I'm sure you haven't. Tell me you're not implying what I think you are.
I ran into the pen, and this pack of animals is just chomping on this alpaca.
They looked like dogs, but they varied in size, like a whole group of something eating him alive. Like, that's what it looked like. There were a group of animals just eating him.
Hello? What are you talking about? That's what animals do. You just described a coyote. You guys are acting like you've never had this happen before. Don't you own a farm? That's what happens to livestock. That's why you keep a donkey.
And there was one animal in particular that did not move off the alpaca. When I ran into the corral, it took me picking up a stick and chucking it at him to even get him out of the corral. Very aggressive animal.
You're telling me you ran up to a pack of hungry coyotes armed with a stick and didn't expect to use it? How are you alive? Also, the cameras around the property went down right before this happened, because of course they did.
Well, the unfortunate thing is this camera went down not too long after what we're looking at right now.
Oh, really?
So the one time something actually happened, the camera went down right before, so we got no footage of it? Really?
Eric Bard makes sure that pretty much every inch of this ranch is covered by a camera somewhere.
And finally, we get to the part about the cow. And for whatever reason, they make a huge stink about the cows not wanting to be near one of their dead brethren.
One was noticing that the entire herd had pushed out of the field. The fact that they're gone, that's disturbing.
They're like, why is the flock here? Why now? Why would they get as far as possible when there's shade right next to the dead one? And why would they stick together in some sort of flock formation?
So we found the cattle on the property all clustered over here in this area where they have never been before. There's so much other shade. The options are unlimited for where they could choose to go to.
Like, have these people never kept livestock? And better yet, do they know nothing about animals to begin with? You don't even need to keep cows to know that they move in groups and wouldn't want to be near a dead body. This isn't anomalous activity. How did this make the show? And even worse than that, can you guess what the verdict on the dead cow was?
It's very, very possible. It is stress-induced. Stress will bring on pneumonia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, cows, they get stressed, and the pathogens that cause pneumonia are typically already within the cow.
If this cow got stressed, would that bring on an acute reaction?
Yeah, stress will cause it.
And they have the audacity to say it was the microwaves that scared it.
Animals actually detect things a little differently than humans do sometimes. If something weird were to happen, like strange radiation or microwaves or something, they might feel it or detect it some way and just move away from it.
Come on. I think this IMDb review puts it best. Are you kidding me? The show goes nowhere fast. They're always foiled by something in every episode. Why don't they just hire a geologist? The cow died of stress-related pneumonia. Why did you bring an expert on cattle mutilations? Cameras are everywhere, yet no good footage on the attack of the llamas. Millionaire investor flies in to deliver health monitor equipment. Yeah, that part was pretty corny, I'm not gonna lie. They should just donate the land back to the tribe. There is nothing here. Agreed. And I think that's a pretty good description of this show. So in summary, Oak Island is a show about something where they do nothing, which makes it frustrating. And Skinwalker Ranch is a show about nothing where they do nothing, which makes it funny.
You know, the only thing I can put my mind to is it's a dog, but it's a big dog.
So you know what these shows really need? A sub-show breaking down all the stuff they didn't find in the actual show. That would be helpful, I think, because it wasn't already strung out enough. It astounds me that the History Channel is still afloat, to be honest. Well, I guess it's not so much surprising as it is telling to how easy it is to lie to people. Like, if you apply any amount of critical thinking when you watch any one of these 3 shows I've gone over thus far, you kind of realize this is just YouTube clickbait with better cinematography and unlimited funding from a multinational media conglomerate. There's no content here. It's only interesting if 1, you can just turn your brain down and not think about it too much, or 2, you don't know enough about science to contest the things they tell you in the first place. So you just let them do the thinking for you, and it makes you feel smart and scientific. Like you're on the precipice of some new scientific discovery. But you're not. Snap out of it. Whether you believe in aliens, lizard people, whatever it may be, nothing is getting uncovered on any of these shows, ever. These are network TV shows designed to string you along for as long as possible to get you to watch more ads. So if you guys enjoyed, let me know down in the comments. Next time, I'm going to be shooting a flamethrower on a scissor lift with no harness. And I'm not going to be telling OSHA. But that's about all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.